Hello and welcome to The Build-Up. This is the show that gives you everything you need to know before the big game kicks off. Tonight we're heading to Sunderland, where Derby County are going for their first away points of the season and first ever victory at the Stadium of Light. Let's get the history out of the way first. Derby and Sunderland haven't faced each other all that much in recent years, but it's still 23 years since the Rams beat Sunderland and 34 since they beat them on home soil. That was all the way back in December of 1990, when the hosts still played at Roker Park. Dean Saunders and Mick Harford getting the goals in a 2-1 win. In the present day, Sunderland have made a great start to the new championship season. 5 wins from their first 7 games sees them sit second in the table. They did lose at Watford on Saturday, but have been perfect so far at the Stadium of Light. 3 wins out of 3 and yet to concede a goal in victories over Sheffield Wednesday, Burnley and Middlesbrough. Certainly been what new head coach Regis Le Bris was looking for after his move from France this summer. As for Derby, the Rams have no new injury concerns from this weekend's controversial defeat at home to Norwich, but this is the first midweek championship fixture of the campaign, so maybe we will see first Derby starts in the league for the likes of Marcus Harness, Nat Phillips and Tawanda Chilewa. Well, the good news for Derby is that despite seeming to spend most of the first half down receiving treatment for various bumps and bruises, Ebou Adams is fit and available for tonight's trip to Sunderland. The midfielder made his loan move from Cardiff permanent in the summer, but he's been telling RamsTV he feels as though nothing has changed.
It's weird because I'd say this, it's more like when I first signed as a loan player, it felt like a permanent sign anyway, so I'm kind of living in that fantasy as a permanent player, because I remember towards the end of the season I forgot that I was a loan player, which showed how much I was enjoying playing for the club, and it's pretty much just carried on really, and I'm just happy to keep playing for the club and play with a smile on my face and be an asset to the club and to the boys to help them out and hopefully keep doing well.
Clearly no different for you then, but different at all for the family? Because I know loan moves can be difficult and put pressure on players' personal lives. Are they all settled now? Are they in Derby with you?
Yeah, they're in Derby. It can be a little bit of a headache in terms of like the personal side of things. Obviously, during the summer, it's all speculations when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, and all that. And Mrs. and the little one, and I'm just looking at them thinking, I feel bad because I'm going to have to take you with me at some point. I can't leave you behind. And I think, but do you know what? My Mrs. has been really good. She's let's say used to it, but she's been that rock, and they'd be able to do the stuff that I cannot do. Obviously, so when I get up, she has to pack the whole house, which a little bit embarrassed to say, but she does a lot of the work. And I'm just, she allows me to play football. And I think Derby as well have been helped a lot in terms of helping find the place. And do you know what? They really do like it. They like it as well as I do. And that makes me smile and enjoy football a bit more.
That's great to hear. I wanted to talk to you about the 2-touch games that you and Kenzo and David Ozo certainly had. I don't know if they're continuing anymore. David's claim a couple of weeks ago, don't know if you saw it, was that Kenzo would quit because he was winning every week. Would you like to offer your perspective on things?
Just on that question, we're still playing 2-touch.
Okay.
Maybe the standards got better since David's missing a little bit, but don't tell him that. But nah, yeah, it's a thing for us lot that we enjoy. So I think obviously they're 2 new lads, and I think since we've been doing it, it's made us grow together. And them as it's not just as midfield partners, them as a friend. It's good to build that type of relationship.
How did it start?
It was weird. We just said, let's just try. I think I must have got them together. Said, let's see who's the best, and we've been doing it ever since. And I think for me, as well as having midfield partners, it's good to build a relationship, and I have it with Tomo, with Ozzy, and it's good to build that relationship off the pitch as well as on it. And for us, you can see us playing with a smile on our faces, and you've probably seen it as well, us always joking around and laughing, and I think that's really good because it relays on to us helping each other on the pitch. I think that's important.
Do you see that sort of around the squad? Different players and pockets have their own little routines and special connections?
Do you know what? I think everyone gets along with everyone, and it's weirdly enough that it comes to a point where everyone can have a conversation. It could be about anything, maybe about life, personal life and whatnot, and I think that's really important. And I think that shows on the pitch that, as you said, the attitude on the game is a never give up. And you got, say, someone like a Nelson or someone as young as Cash driving you on, and you look at them and thinking, you'll give me that extra 10%, and that matters. And I think it's more like we're going to war as brothers and then as a family. So I think if we lose, it hurts everyone, and if we win, we all win together, and it's all smile and jokey after the game. And I think that's what the boys want. And I think, well, I'll give credit to the gaffer who's built a team, really, and that's important to be able to have players on the pitch as well as off player management to drive you through a game. And that's, for me, it's incredible.
You keep talking about playing with a smile on your face. I remember when you walked into the room in Spain and the reaction from everyone in the room when you arrived and knew that you were signing for Derby permanently. I sort of get the feeling that you love to bring joy to people sort of however you can.
I always like to say, like, my smile's contagious. I hope it's contagious, because then I think if you can put a smile on someone else's face, it can brighten up their day. That you don't know what someone's going through, and the day they could be having a bad day or bad morning. You never know. So I think for me, as I always say to all the staff around it, I hope my smile's contagious. It's a good thing, and I hope I can continue to keep doing that, whether it be staff, players, fans, you. So it's for me, it's important to be a good person as well as a good player. Well, I hope I'm a good player, so.
Ebou Adams keeping everyone smiling as ever ahead of Derby's trip to Sunderland tonight. Well, the home side have made a tremendous start to the season and to life under new coach Regis Le Bris. That's despite Saturday's defeat at Watford. Their new boss has been talking about the approach he wants to see from his side.
We spoke a lot about our identity, and it's clear that we want to press high. And we want to have many fast attacks in our game. But during a single game, we can't use these weapons all the time. We need to choose the right moments, especially during a week like that, with 3 games in a row. This blue part of our game, it's the part of the game when we need to control maybe the possession. We need to have maybe a lower block to control the opponent's possession. We need to use this moment differently. And I think it was in the mind of the players during the game at Watford. It's a balance. So it's not implemented in the game plan. It's something you need to use in real time with the understanding of the game, the dynamic, the momentum, and so on. So it wasn't so bad, I think, too bad against Watford. Obviously, we need to improve every element of our game, but that part of the dynamic was interesting, I think.
Derby, seemingly smarting a little bit from 2 goals from Norwich that were probably not goals because the ball was out of play, losing at home. What do you expect from them in terms of a reaction at Sunderland?
It's never easy to anticipate the reaction. I think it's a good team, another good team in this championship with a good dynamic. They are fit, they are physical, they are organized. So if we don't play well, we'll have many difficulties. So for us, the opponent is still strong. So I don't expect any weaknesses. I don't expect any low fit or something like that. For us, we need to play our best football. And against that team, I think our identity, as it was the case at Watford, is the main focus. And we need to improve many things in our game. For sure, against Derby, it will be a different experience. So we need to master all the elements of the game model.
Sunderland boss Regis Le Bris there. 8 games in the Championship tonight. Tough trip to Burnley for Plymouth, Coventry, will try to get their season started at home to Blackburn, while Norwich Leeds could be a cracker. Leaders West Brom host Middlesbrough in the 8 o'clock game. West Brom, the Championship's early leaders, Sunderland and Burnley snapping at their heels. Sheffield United would be right there with them if not for their points deduction. Derby slipped into the bottom half on goal difference at the weekend. 7 games in, and there are still 2 teams yet to win. That's Portsmouth and Cardiff. Derby looking to get back to winning ways, or at least record their first away point of the season tonight away at Sunderland. The Rams have had no trouble scoring goals to start this Championship campaign, but there are a couple of attacking players yet to get off the mark. We've been getting an assessment on the Rams forward line from assistant head coach Richie Barker.
It's funny because if Caden and Jerry and Nat had got 10 of the 12, we'd be talking about can we share goals from elsewhere.
Of course we would, yeah.
But look, I think Jerry's greater than the sum of his parts, so we'll start with him. I think the game a couple of weeks ago was excellent. Probably a couple of things let him down at the weekend, but I thought, again, played a big part in what we do. He's a very, very unselfish striker who, if you asked him now, and we've known him a long time, obviously, if you asked him now that, you know, we had a really successful season and he doesn't score a goal, he would take that because that's the kind of person he is and that's the kind of team ethic we want. However, from him, I think, you know, his first goal will be a very popular one because he's a popular member of the team and somebody who the lads recognise is, you know, it's not about him, it's not about his goal record. So I always think it's great when we have different goal scorers because I think you become harder to play against. I think when somebody's got 22 and the next person's got 5, you know, you're pretty much thinking, well, if we keep him quiet, then we'll be all right. But we've talked often about midfielders weighing in, wide players weighing in, become more difficult to play against. Obviously, Fozzie got on the score sheet from a set-piece point of view at the weekend, which we always talk about is important. So you've got to score goals in loads of different ways. Yes, in an ideal world, we'd have somebody on 5 or 6 at the top of the pitch, but I'm sure that will come.
Back on the road on Tuesday night, Sunderland second in the Championship after 7 games. Impossible not to be impressed with how they've started.
Yeah, they started off on a process 3-4 years ago, whatever, 2-3 years ago. I remember playing against them in League One and they just had a change of ownership. They'd been stuck in the League One for a few years. Decided they were going to go down a different route. Academy, very similar to ours, that they'd struggled for a couple of years, but they bared with it, and they're now obviously, you know, getting some success out of successful academy graduates, buying younger players, and they're a very young, energetic, athletic team, very well organised in terms of the way they play, very expansive. So. But however, what I would say is it suggests that, you know, they got promoted, whatever it was, a couple of years ago. You have to, you know, build that process and you have to ensure that, you know, in your first couple of years that you're going in the right direction before you then push on for that. And I'm sure they'll be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. So another tough game for us. I think maybe one of the questions coming up is going to be about our away form. I think I've been told that we're going to have played all the top 6 away from home in our first 4 away games. Well, that's as tough as you get for a start. So obviously we want to go and win the game, but we're well aware of how difficult it's going to be.
Well, I can go through them for you if you want. Blackburn, 3rd in the table. Watford just outside the top 6. Sheffield United, 4th best record. Obviously, their points deduction changes things a little bit. But are you encouraged by the fact you've been in all of those games?
Yeah, we're encouraged with the fact we've been in, you know, every game, home and away so far. We've had spells of, even in the Blackburn game, where I thought for probably half the game we were the better team, lost our way for 15 minutes. And it was a pretty key 15 minutes off the back of their substitutions. But yeah, I thought Watford away, we had the better chances in the second half and could have quite easily come away with a draw. We didn't, so you know, I can't just sit here and say we should have. And then Sheffield United, I thought first half excellent. Obviously got beat by, you know, a disappointing goal, but yeah, we're in every game so far, and hopefully something will turn. You know, sometimes we may have to try something different away from home. But you know, that's a tough run of fixtures. But you know, all away games at this level are tough, and obviously we have to we have to be at our best. We have to have a couple of things go right for us. But yeah, it's a pretty tough start.
Everyone looking okay after the weekend?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that we haven't had any information back yet. So we're aware of a tough week, 3 games in a week. I think for the first time we've had 3 championship games in a week. So, but we've got a break coming up after this with the internationals. So, it's just a matter of getting your head down for 5 days, get on with it, and we'll see where we are come Saturday tea time.
That's Richie Barker, and this has been the build-up. You can join us tonight on RamsTV for Sunderland against Derby County. It's available everywhere outside the UK, so get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. Sean Barker will be with me in the studio from 7:15 for Matchday Live. Until then, goodbye.